So my name is Mina Mukhar, and founder of Mars Mission. Gary Stephenson is also with us, as well as Kimberly Todd, and she's going to be assisting with some surveys and some prizes at the end. So let's see. All right, so I figured we'd start out with a little icebreaker. A couple questions for the audience. So how many people had childhood dreams of space and space exploration? And still do today? I should say probably everybody, I'm guessing. Excellent. Target audience. I would think that everybody would fit. What about how many people gaze up into the night sky and wonder if we ever find the questions of the unknown, questions like this here? Anybody not? Anybody not? That's probably what I should be asking. And then finally, how many people want to see humans in space and explore other planets and all that? And the final question. So do you think that there are at least 1 million people out there who feel the same way, have the same vision, the same dreams? Does anybody think that we don't have 1 million people that would feel the same way on Earth? No? Well, that's good, because that's kind of the model that we put together. We're hoping that at least 1 million people can feel the same way, and if so, if they at least have $2, then that should help to make this happen. But we'll get to that. So, bottom line is, if we want to see that our childhood dreams come true, and if we want to see our answers to the questions of the unknown, and we want to see humanity explore and settle other planets, well then we have a question of what's holding us back. And so we have a prize here of what are the top 3 things that are holding us back? So if anybody gets all 3, they'll get a prize. Good. Government, so it's politics. Do you have 2 more? Money. Okay, money. And the third one? That's all you got. Okay, well, that's pretty close. Money. Excellent.
Politics, money, and technology.
There we go. Somebody said technology, even though technology is not holding us back. Does anybody think technology is holding us back? You do. Okay. Good. Yeah. So I would say he could get a prize. And who said technology first? So if you want to give these 2 folks a prize, we have NASA patches. You have another one?
The money, the government, and a lack of vision.
Lack of vision, yeah, that's important. We didn't have vision, but we do have politics, money, and technology. We figured technology would come up, but we didn't feel that would be holding us back. But I'm interested in your opinion about technology. Is there some aspect of technology you think we don't have that would hold us back?
There are a lot of facets. Life support, we haven't proven a 3-year life support system. We really don't have heavy lift capabilities. We really haven't put a package together that we can be quite sure it's going to take us to Mars, leave us there for a while, and bring us back. There's so many unanswered questions that are being answered now that the commercial enterprises are getting involved. But today, we don't have the technology, not just the equipment, but we don't have the know-how to get somebody to Mars, make sure they're going to stay alive, and bring them back with any assurance.
Is that a debated fact, or is that...
That's one man's opinion who was in the government and the industry for a very short time and who has run away from that facet of it.
Okay, great. If you didn't get the prize, and I said you should definitely come up at the end. All right, so this is where Gary will take over for a second, and then we'll come right back.
Okay, so there's quite a few players. Obviously, we're all here today because the Mars Society is organized. And so I wanted to kind of flash all these up just to show you that we're not alone here. So the question's going to come up, what makes us different? Why did we, with all these organizations, form yet one more non-for-profit organization? I just want to quickly summarize these. Obviously, Mars One, they're trying to get colonists on Mars. We just heard from the Mars Foundation. Inspiration Mars we heard during the plenary. Mars Drive I haven't heard of, so it's an interesting one we found there. Us, and then Explore Mars, yes, they focus on Mars education and public outreach. They also do advocacy for public funding. And so they're good. They have a lobbying arm as well. So why this additional organization? Well, first of all, we're a non-for-profit, so that's something to be aware of. We're all volunteer. And so the reason for forming it is really to help unify space advocates, and the way we want to unify space advocates, especially Mars advocates, is through empowering direct funding. So that if you give $1 for Mars exploration, that $1 goes to Mars exploration, not 50 cents or 75 cents. Empowering also, it's not just time, it's treasure. How do you spend your treasure? How do you spend your time? And so time is another irretrievable quantity that we want to be able to connect people with Mars missions on a direct volunteer basis. This morning during the plenary we heard that crowdsourcing engineering is a challenge. But that's something that we're going to be taking a look at. And so we will go over the details, but a part of this is going to be direct funding, and a part of this is going to be how do we crowdsource engineering challenges, and there are a lot of challenges out there. So we want to be powered by a volunteer passion, and we want to have that worldwide. And it is so far worldwide. That's the power of the internet that we're leveraging. Who are we? This is our leadership team. Mina is our founding president. Steve, Bruce, and Frank are on the board of directors. Steve is also in charge of the executive committee. And so we do need to have volunteers like CPAs, like media people, so that we can keep the organization growing forward. There's also a technical committee. I'm the director of the technical committee. We also have Daniel and Jacob, who have a lot of experience. Daniel was with SpaceX and did orbital mechanics. We heard about the Dragon docking with the ISS. He did the orbital mechanics for that. Jacob has also worked for a number of startups in the propulsion area. So I think we've got a pretty good coverage on the technical committee. You might wonder why a technical committee for a funding organization. It's really going to, right now it's a rules committee. I mean, you need rules if you're going to grant a prize. And so if there's boots on the ground, what constitutes that? What constitutes a mission that gets boots to the ground? But it's also, it's going to be organizing the crowdsourcing of technology too. We heard in the plenaries the problem of open source architecture. Right now there is no open source architecture for commercial space. How do we cherry pick the best interfaces so that we can create an open source architecture? Well, there is a lot of technical talent. There are hundreds of people in our volunteer database already that have the technical skills to help do that. It's just a matter of connecting those people with the jobs to create an open system architecture for commercial space. So that's something that we'll be tackling later in the year and next year, and you'll probably hear more about that. So to sum up my part, our mission, we want to ensure that humans safely reach Mars with a habitat that's going to be available for exploration and possibly also settlement within our lifetime. That's my part of it. I'm going to turn it back over to Mina so he can wrap up.
Thank you, Gary. Right. So a little bit about what makes us different. As you saw, we have, what, seven, eight, I guess, Mars organizations out there already, but why another one? So we kind of quickly run through that. So we manage something called the Mars Prize. We have a Mars Prize fund that's online, it's transparent, we publish our bank statements, we redact all of the account number except for the last 4 digits. So all the money that comes into the fund, you can see the money that's there, and it can be thought of as like a public savings account. As money comes in, it doesn't go out, it stays in. As opposed to the other organizations where there's R&D, research and development, there's money comes in and it has to go to salaries or whatever expenses that the organization has to produce. But we're a very, very lean organization. There are no costs. We have technology costs, but those are definitely covered. Everything's donated. We have a SharePoint Enterprise 2010 environment that's donated to us. We have a Drupal open source content management system that's also open source, so nobody needs to pay for that. And of course, there's hosting fees, which is whatever that is, $10 a year or $50 a year, whatever that is. So that is, in a nutshell, what the prize fund's all about. And as money comes in, it stays in, and less the merchant fees. Currently, we have PayPal as a merchant, so whatever they charge. As soon as our volume increases, our merchant fees will go down. Another thing that makes us different is we envision that the Mars Prize Fund would accelerate progress by encouraging other organizations to focus on the mission. So it would act as a subsidy to increase the return on investment of whoever does the mission. So, you have, let's say you had a lot of money in the fund. The first entity that actually does it would get all of the money in the fund. So, as an example, if 1 million people gave $2 per month, the fund would grow by minimum to $2 million a month, plus the merchant fees. So that's kind of the idea. So if we had a million people, and our average is a lot higher than 2. I think our average is more like 8 or so. So that would mean that the fund would grow by $8 million a year if we had a million people. Okay. So, but aside from that, the subscribers. So here are some of the options that we have here for funding prize fund channels, and these are just a few. So there are so many ideas. The ideas are unlimited for how the fund can actually actually grow. So here we have the option direct, and then we have the monthly and the annual subscribers, which is really the primary way that we are hoping that people would actually subscribe, because that's what the model is all about. You have 1 million people. Would you rather have the fund have $1 million, or would you rather have it grow by $1 million per month? Another option that came up because people continually ask for it were one-time donations. So we gave that as an option. That took a lot of debate. But then we have other various things like the eBay Giving Works, which enables people to, when they list, for example, the sellers, they could specify that we would get a percentage of the sales price, the auction sales price. Another thing is they could actually, the buyer can specify a specific amount of money that could go into the fund directly from whenever they check out. So that's just one option. But there are so many vendors like that. You've probably seen it at the grocery stores. You've seen it all sorts of places where you can donate to various places. And that's the idea. If we get many different streams, funding channels into the fund, then the more we have, the better the fund will be, and the more it will grow. So it's not necessarily reliant on subscribers, but subscribers would be the primary initial idea. The other one is, of course, Mars merchandise. We currently need an owner for that, so if anybody wants to own a merchandising aspect of it, then we need somebody with that where we get a percentage of the profit go directly to the fund to help increase it. But there's so many other ideas. I think we have some stuff in the margin. So we have membership dues. So if we have volunteers that come up and actually give us a proposal for what the membership dues would do, maybe it would help with marketing, maybe it would help with just whatever is needed to help to get the idea out, then that could also be another source. Amazon Books, that's something somebody tried, and that seems to work too. We're going to actually make that a direct stream probably in the next month. And of course, Google AdWords, which we didn't have that on the site, but we'll get that on there next. All right, so what are our strengths as an organization? Well, so we want to be able to provide assurance that your donations are going to go specifically to the actual mission, as opposed to being spent in the current fiscal year. Because if you're donating money and it's going to be spent in the fiscal year, well, it's not going to go to the mission. So after 10 years of watching progress with Mars funding and all of that, that's what made us put the organization together, because there was no funding plan. And so what we're trying to propose is that there is a funding plan. And that's what this is trying to do. So we don't rely on politics. So, politics can come and go, and, it doesn't matter. The fund will always be there. So we don't rely on the government-funded money for the Mars mission. And so, also, 100% transparent organization with all of our daily operations. So everything we do, you'll see, we have metrics that follow everything we do, and we're continually growing our metrics, and things are tracked. All the key metrics are published monthly on a performance dashboard. So that's actually what I specialize in my day job, is making dashboards, automating business process, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll show you the example of our dashboard. So bottom line is our number one focus is on money for the actual Mars mission. And it's 100% volunteer-based, purely motivated by the passion for volunteers. And so, we've been operating for about 3 years now, but we'll get to that too. It's all been in planning. It took a lot to get this type of thing together. So, this is the performance dashboard. This is actually a new design of it. So, it's not necessarily, if you've been to our website recently, you might have seen it, but for the most part, you guys are probably the first people to see it. So, this isn't all of it, this is just a glimpse. So we have actually 3 major sections of it. This is just one, which is the Mars Prize Fund metrics. And so this talks about our mission, our prize fund, and then the vision, and you can see how it grows. And basically with the prize fund metrics, you can see that we have prize fund balance. So you can see this is how much money we had as of 7/31, 24/67. Number of fund subscribers, 39. And because we have 39 subscribers, the minimum fund growth would be $104 per month and 39 cents. Now, if we had, $1 million, that's exactly where we'd see this fund grow to be the minimum, $1 million, whatever it is. And then the number of fund channels. That's a specific metric that's also new because it's supposed to count how many. And this is false data because we're still working on it. But what we're going to do is we want to get that number up. So the more channels we have, the bigger our balance is going to be. But then the key is, though, our core competency would be the number of subscribers and the fund growth. Because the more we have that are donating currently, is the minimum monthly growth that we'll get. The other 2 metrics, I think, are volunteer-related and public outreach-related, so social media. So this is a little roadmap to show where we've been and what we've been doing for the last 3 years. So you see we've, So in phase 1, 2011, we did a lot of research and planning to try to figure out what the best model was and how to exactly put this whole thing together. Phase 2 in 2011 was to get the certificate of formation, and then phase 3 was to actually get tax exempt. That was fun. So we had to go through multiple reiterations of getting tax exempt because they didn't necessarily understand what we're trying to do, that we needed a specific license and all that. So we went back and forth probably about 6-7 times, but finally it was granted in December 15, 2011. And then the final thing, once we had that all established, we started to build our team, and that seemed to, that's actually an interesting thing, trying to build a team. A lot of people didn't think that the idea would work. They thought that an organization could not be run by 100% volunteers. And what we found is that we were able to get professional CPAs, we were able to get professional marketing people, able to get professional graphics folks. Just all across the board, we got people from all over the world who were able to join our team and help us out. Now, here in 2012, we were trying to formalize what exactly we were doing. We didn't necessarily start out with the Mars Prize Fund. We knew that that's what the model needed to be, but exactly how were we going to do it? Subscribers? Or how was it going to be? Finally, IT infrastructure build out. That was also fun. SharePoint, combination of Drupal, how do we make all that work out? And then public outreach. So now here we are in 2013. We're doing the volunteer platform build out where we're going to match skills. What people do and like to do and have a passion for doing, we'll match those with activities that specifically relate to our metrics. And so that will help the performance dashboard perform every month. 2013, and so here you see collaborative initiatives. So us having talks like this and telling the public about it is kind of a part of what this is, and as well as program build out. So program build out would be stuff like the merchandising program, where we have to find somebody to lead it and that kind of thing. And then funding channel. So we'll get a lot more of the funding channel build out in 2014. So if you wanted to get involved, a couple things to note. We have general volunteers. That platform will be coming soon, but you can still go on now, fill out the application, and then you'll go into the database, and then you'll be contacted shortly once the platform is finished, and then you'll know how to pick whatever activity it is that you do. So leadership team, open positions, these are the folks who really make it work right now. These are the key people. We have specific things that need to be done, and so the biggest thing is public relations. We have people contacting us all the time from the media. They need expertise, they need content, they need people to speak, and that kind of thing. We also would like to have a backup CPA. We need to have some people do reconciliations of the various accounts. Attorney, it's nice to have a legal advisor. We kind of have somebody indirectly, but nobody who's going to be, I wouldn't say full-time, because this stuff is ad hoc. And this is the kind of thing. And I think this presentation will be available for you all later on. We also have an ambassador program. The objective with the ambassador program is to have some represent the organization in all the countries, as well as in every state and province, and every city representative. So that way we can be sure to have boots on the ground everywhere spread out, so we can get the message out, and then we can have people collaborate easily. And we're on all of the primary social media. All right, so with that, we'll do a quick survey. We'll pass out the survey to everybody, and then we'll do a quick drawing at the end. We'll mix it all up, and then the person that we pick will get a prize. But meanwhile, what we'll do is we'll open it up to question and answer. And if anybody's interested in getting a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, I'm not sure if they'll distribute it or not, but if you bring me your business card and let us know, we can definitely get that to you. We'll email it. And then you can sign up for the newsletter if you're interested. Questions?
It all looks really good and everything. Looks like you guys got that together, but I'm wondering how it is that one of your poor people hasn't before heard the water strike, and we had Frank Sanford on your board of directors.
Yeah, well, you definitely need to do a better job of communicating. That's a very good point, yes. Okay.
And a four-part question. What is your legal structure? I think I heard you answer that one, but I didn't hear what the other was. What states' laws control what happens? What kind of oversight do you actually have set up? And who goes to jail if the money disappears?
I can imagine a board of directors would definitely should jail if money disappears.
If you had one.
So we're registered in the state of Texas. So we're a 501c3 in the state of Texas, in Dallas, and we're very public about our address and all of that. I'm listed as the registered agent until we get general legal counsel, but where we are registered in Texas. I think that was 3 or 4, right? Did I miss your question?
501c3.
Yes, 501c3. Yes, nonprofit 501c3.
Thanks.
Yes.
So if you stick the money in a checking account or a CD, when you account for current rate of inflation, you're actually losing money on what you have to pay. So how are you managing it to actually grow it?
So the money management part, we'll get to that aspect of it later on in the roadmap as soon as we get the volume to do it. So we want to get enough money into it and we've got to get established. So this is really our first public event where we're actually speaking about the organization and telling people about it. So as soon as we get some momentum, we get some funding in it, then we focus on specifically how to best invest the money to make it grow to the maximum extent, the lowest amount of risk, with, of course, diversification. Yes?
What are your current and ongoing regulatory challenges related to the open bank account? Is that Does anybody mind?
So regulatory challenges as it relates to the funding?
To publishing bank records.
Oh, so nobody says anything that is, but you know, I had extensive conversations with the banker about that. He said it's safe to do. And he said as long as you redact all of the account digits, except for the last four, it's pretty secure. You know, we can do anything, and plus even if they try to do, you need to have authorized signatures and all that stuff. So the key thing about publishing the bank statements is that you can see all the transactions as they come in, and you can see that everything is just transparent. And we want to actually make even the funding channels transparent too, to an extent. We've got to, of course, protect PII, personally identifiable information of the donors and all that stuff. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I think you're not being very convincing for what concern having a new organization. So I do not really understand why keep losing critical mass by creating new organization, or why all of this cannot just be a, well, I say, initiative of the Mars Society, for example.
What do you mean?
So
Why is it not part of the Mars Society?
Oh, well, that's a good question. We gotta ask Zuber. I think eventually we discussed that, and Zuber basically said that we needed to get established, which we're established. And now, you know, when you say we need to be with the Mars Society, we were invited to speak at this conference, so that's a good first step. And so I think it's really a matter of how is the audience, how are you all going to perceive the organization? And if you all think it's a good idea, you should tell Zuber. And then if we all get on board, because Zuber, the Mars Society, they're very good at networking. They're very good at pulling people together. And so, in their base of people, if we get everybody on board, we'll get a good head start. And it's not our organization, though. I don't like to look at it as our organization. It's the people's organization. It's y'all's organization. We're not trying to own it. We're not trying to do anything. Nobody's trying to make any money off of it. And actually, according to tax exempt status, nobody's supposed to make any money off of it. So it is the public's organization, and that's how it's set up. Any other questions? Yes.
Does the inspiration mission, if it's successful, will that be a successful human Mars mission?
Well,
Would they get the prize?
Yeah, that was a very big talk. It wouldn't, because they wouldn't necessarily be, they're not landing. They're just kind of going by it and then coming back. But what they're doing is absolutely essential, but it's the settlement part with our mission that is the key here, which the technical committee is working out the actual part, but we want to ensure that humans safely reach Mars, so that they've got to land with a habitat, so that way they can explore, and that way they can set up for a human settlement. And the idea is to do it within our lifetime, so as soon as possible. We don't want to
Surface arrival. In other words, they have to arrive on the surface, they have to be boots on the ground for the prize to be awarded. That's what we decided after a big discussion.
All right, so I guess I've been told that we have 0 minutes left. So if anybody has any surveys, we'll be open for a little while, and we can do the drawing.